Okay, so today's entire discussion is going to be around two things, right? First of all, we will go ahead and we will discuss what all should be the topics that you should be preparing. And when I will talk about the topics that you should be preparing, these are the minimum topics. At least you need to go ahead and do these topics, at least. Plus, of course, it would be good if you can go ahead and revise everything that is there in the portal under the intermediate section, right? But you need to revise at least the topics that I'm going to mention now. And the second part of this marathon is going to be around solving the sample paper that is available on their website. It is a very, very small sample paper and it only has 10 questions. So I'm going to go ahead and solve those 10 questions. But I just want to highlight before we go to the sample paper. At a lot of places now, I could not understand the print very nicely. I'm not sure why they have put that paper with, it's a very bad quality print that they have taken. So for two or three questions, the question is not very, very clear in terms of handwriting, but I will go ahead and tell you the approach that you need to follow. And then you can go ahead and you can do similar questions in exam. Now, if you look into the sample paper says that the questions that we have given in this paper, they do not completely tell the level of the difficulty of the paper, which means that the paper, although I am expecting it to be at the level of the sample paper, but the paper can be a little more difficult than the sample paper also. This is what the sample paper mentions. So we just need to go ahead and consider the fact that it can be a bit difficult than the sample paper. ठीक है जी? Okay, beta, let's begin with the marathon. So let us go ahead and understand what all should you be preparing in these days for the SNU entrance exam. To begin with, these are some of the topics that I have gone ahead and written for macroeconomics. These are the minimum topics that all of you will go ahead and do in macroeconomics. The first thing is GNP, GDP numericals. So you should be aware about all the three approaches, right? All the three approaches, income, product, expenditure, and you should be able to solve numerical using these three approaches. Then you have to be very aware of the ISLM model. So for example, if I give you a question which says that, okay, your consumption is this and your investment is this and your government expenditure is this, and I ask you find equilibrium level of output, you should be able to do this. So you should be able to solve for the goods market, you should be able to solve for the money market, you should be able to find the equilibrium in goods and money market also. That kind of question can be asked in exam. Then the third thing that you need to go ahead and you need to focus on, that is going to be the money multiplier concept, right? So in this case, beta, whatever in class, whatever different ways in which we have discussed the numerical of money multiplier, all formulas of money multiplier are important. And you can go through those formulas using the advanced lecture that we had taken on money multiplier. The next topic which is important is the concept of foreign multiplier. So when I say the concept of foreign multiplier, what do I mean? By the concept of foreign multiplier, I mean that, you should be able to know what is import multiplier and how to go ahead and find that. So if I give you an open economy, and suppose I go ahead and I tell you that, okay, import is equal to 400 plus 0.9y. And I give you other things also. I give you consumption, investment, etc., etc. So you should be able to solve for the open economy and you should be able to find the value of multiplier in that case also. Then next is the open economy and BOP concepts. So here you need to go ahead and revise the cases of Mundell-Fleming model. They can be asked in exam. And you must be very, very clear with covered interest arbitrage parity situation and uncovered interest parity situation. ये दोनों ही चीजें आपको अच्छे से आनी चाहिए. You must be clear with their formulas very well. So this is all that you can go ahead and you can expect from macroeconomics. Again, beta, as I have clearly mentioned that these are suggestive but not limited. So this is the minimum that you have to do. Itna to karna hi karna hai, and you can go ahead and do beyond this also. Now let's talk about maths. So when I talk about maths, the first thing that you need to focus on is the set theory. Under set theory, you need to go ahead and you need to know minimum things like what is the distributive property, right? Then you need to go ahead and understand, like, for example, what is the associative property under set theory. Then you need to know what is mutually inclusive set, mutually exclusive set, right? So all these things under set theory is something that you must be aware about. You must be also aware about the different operations under set theory. So what will happen when you need to do union? What will happen when you need to do A minus B? What will happen when you need to do A intersection B? All these operations, you must be aware about these operations under set theory also. Then the next thing that we need to focus on, that is matrix and determinants. So in this, I am expecting that there can be a question which can be asked this year on eigenvalue, eigenvector. Just be aware of this concept. Then they can ask you questions based on the properties of the determinant. So suppose I ask you that the determinant of A and A transpose, will this be equal or not? So something on the properties of determinants and matrix can also be asked. Then you have quadratic equation questions. So for example, I can ask you find out the number of roots, or I can ask you that, okay, I have given you an equation ax square plus bx plus c. Under what condition will this have unique roots? Under what condition will this have only one root? Something like this can also be asked in exam. Okay. Then you can have questions on logic. Logic is the first topic that you go ahead and cover as part of your maths classes. So you can go ahead and you can have questions based out of logic. So, questions like, if P implies Q, does Q imply P or not? Something like this, huh? Or what does this mean? So some basic questions on logic can also be asked. And there is one question on simple logic even in the sample paper that you should be aware about. Okay, now let's talk about the next thing. So the next thing that you must be focusing on, that is statistics. In stats, first thing that you have to be very aware about is probability. This is something that will be there in any entrance exam. So in probability, you must be aware about what is mutually exclusive, mutually exhaustive events, right? Then you must be aware about finding out the conditional probability, right? You must be aware about finding the Bayes theorem, probability using Bayes theorem, right? You have to be very, very clear as to where you need to use combinations and where you need to use permutation. 90% of the question that would be based would actually be using combination. Okay. Then the next thing that you have to be aware about, that is going to be the CDF and the PDF functions, the cumulative distribution and probability density function. And in this case, try to go ahead and do some of the major functions. Like there is a high chance that uniform distribution can be asked, high chance that Poisson can be asked, right? High chance of binomial being asked, and high chance of normal being asked, normal distribution. So these four distributions, these are very, very common distributions that can be asked in exam, and you have to be very thorough with this. So for example, let me give you a question. So for example, if I tell you that X is uniformly distributed between 0 to 4, find out the expected value of X, right? So if you simply know how to find the mean in case of uniform distribution, you will be able to solve this kind of question, right? So this is it that would be required in this question. Or if I go ahead and I tell you that, I have a variable Y, and Y is normally distributed with mean 0 and variance sigma square. And now I am creating another variable Z, which is alpha plus Y. Find the mean and variance of Z, right? So questions like this, very basic question, but question based out of probability can be asked in exam. Out of distributions can be asked in exam. So again, there can be some question on the properties of probability distribution. For example, you can go ahead and see a question on memoryless property, right? Or symmetric property of normal distribution, property of normal distribution, right? So these questions can be asked in exam, and it is a good way to go ahead and start practicing these questions also. Okay, now let's go towards microeconomics. So when we talk about microeconomics, first of all, there will be questions on utility function. Simple and complex utility functions can be asked in exam. So you can have a utility function which says u is equal to min xy plus max xy. And you can also go ahead and have a question which says u is equal to x to the power alpha, y to the power beta. So you can be given a simple utility function or a complex utility function, and you may be asked to find out the equilibrium consumptions of x and y. So that's the first thing that can be asked in exam. The second thing that can be asked in exam can be related to production cost and profit theory. And in this case, you can be asked this based on either monopoly or perfect competition. So let me give you an example. So one example can be, for example, if I give you the total cost function of perfect competition, say I give you that total cost is 4x square plus 6x plus 8, and I ask you find the long run equilibrium level of output. So you just need to use one property of the perfect competition, that a perfect competition will produce such that it is at the min of average cost, right? At the min point of the average cost. And by just using that property, you will be able to go ahead and find the equilibrium, right? Or if I just go ahead and I ask you that, okay, suppose that the marginal cost of monopoly is 4 and the elasticity of demand is this much, and I ask you find the price charged by the monopolist. Then you know that you need to go ahead and use the learner's index, and using the learner's index, you can find the price. So very basic properties of monopoly, perfect competition, based on that, you can go ahead and you can see a question in exam. Then there is this question which can be asked on oligopoly. And in oligopoly, just remember the basic things. So remember that when there are two firms in Cournot model, what is the equilibrium? We have done this multiple times. Just remember that in Bertrand model, what is the equilibrium? What is Bertrand paradox, right? And that is enough for you to be remembered. Then there can be question on game theory. Now here, I urge you to go ahead and remember the properties that we had done, right? So you remember that in prisoner's dilemma, for example, we had gone ahead and done the property that the Nash equilibrium may not be Pareto efficient, right? Or we had done the property about the number of Nash equilibrium always being odd, right? So such questions on such properties can also come in exam, and therefore you need to revise game theory in such a way that you do these properties very well. These properties have to be thoroughly done based on game theory, right? Then you can be asked some question on general equilibrium. So for example, they may ask you to find the equation of the contract curve, right? Or they may ask you something related to social welfare function. So there is a high chance that if this comes in exam, Arrow's impossibility theorem can also be asked in exam. So you need to go ahead and revise that also. So this is more or less what I think can be asked in exam. This is the minimum that you should be revising before sitting for the SNU entrance exam. Okay, beta. Okay, now let's look into these questions. So as I was mentioning when I started the marathon, so there are only 10 questions that are given as part of their sample paper. But the issue here is that the print is not very clear on their website. So I am going to use the utmost eyesight that I can do to read out the question. But it may happen that I may end up reading a wrong question. So please go ahead and use your discretion also. So this is how I read the first question. So this tells me that x is equal to x belongs to natural number, x is less than equal to 20, and x by 2 should also belong to natural number, right? This is what this x set is. This x set means. So I want that x should be less than equal to 20. So, and x has to be a natural number. So if I write all the natural numbers less than equal to 20, I will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till 20. But now I need to go ahead and I want to go ahead and do x by 2. So I need to divide everything with 2. Right? And when I will be dividing these things with 2, I will realize that this is no more a natural number. This is giving me 0.5, which is an integer. And I want that even x by 2 should belong to the natural numbers, right? So I am getting a natural number here, isn't it? I am getting a natural number here, I am getting a natural number here, and so on and so forth. So which x's are those x's which are less than equal to 20 such that x by 2 also is a natural number? We see these values. This 2, 4, 6. That means we are only looking in a way at even numbers, right? So we go ahead and we can go ahead and say that x is nothing but my even numbers that I have. Now let us go ahead and let us look at y. It says, if I just read it out, it says y is such that x belongs to natural number, right? And it says that you have this between 8 to 24, but mind you that 8 and 24 are not included. So if I just zoom this, there is no equal to here. 8 and 24 are not included. So x belongs between 8 and 24. And it says that x by 4 belongs to natural number. X by 4 belongs to natural number. So if I were to go ahead and write all x's between 8 and 24, I will start with 9, 10, 11, and I will go till 23. Now I want those x's such that when I do x divided by 4, that should also be a natural number. So if I do 9 by 4, I will get 2 point something, right? This is not a natural number. 10 by 4, not a natural number. 11 by 4, not a natural number. 12 by 4, yes, it is a natural number. So it means I am going to get those x's only which are going to be divisible by 4. Only then I will be having them as a natural number. So I am going to go ahead and get the number as 12. Then I'm going to get 16. Then I'm going to get 20. And that's it. 12, 16, and 20. So I am going to go ahead and I am going to get y as 12, 16, and 20. Y will be 12, 16, and 20. Now this goes ahead and says, find out x intersection y. So find out the common between x intersection y. Now try to understand here that y is 12, 16, and 20. These are divisible by 4. If it is divisible by 4, it is automatically divisible by 2. So therefore, what I have got is that x and y common between x and y is simply going to be y. Because here I would be definitely having 6, 12, 16, and 20, right? So it will simply be y. And now it goes ahead and tells me find out x union y. So I need to find out x union y. Now try to see that since this entire y, it is contained within x. You see somewhere here there will be 12, there will be 16, there is 20. These values are contained within x. So x union y is going to be x. And now it goes ahead and it tells you find x intersection y minus x union y. So find out x intersection y minus x union y. That means find out y minus x. Now, if from this y, I remove all the elements of x, y is nothing but a subset of x. So from y, I am removing all the elements of x. Then nothing will be left in y. So it goes ahead and says such that X belongs to intersection and it does not belong to union. But anything that belongs to intersection will belong to union because Y is a subset of X, right? So it will simply go ahead and give me the answer as 5. So the answer to this question is 5. That's the answer to this question. Okay. Now come to the second question. Here again, I find it to be immense issue with the printing error. So I am going to solve according to what I read through my eyes. The production function is not very clear to me. So I am going to go ahead and write this as this. Y is equal to K to the power 1 by 3, L to the power 2 by 3. And I am doing this because, I have been given that the amount of labor is 125. It's a cube. 5 cube is simply 125. And amount of capital is 8. So I am assuming that what it is written here is this. This is K, sorry. K to the power 1 by 3, L to the power 2 by 3. But what you can go ahead and do is just try to understand the mechanism as to how to solve it. And then you can go ahead and follow it for any question that you get in the exam. So if I just go ahead and I put the value of K as 8, I will get 8 to the power 1 by 3 and 125 to the power 2 by 3. So this is going to be 2 to the power 3 to the power 1 by 3. 5 to the power 3 to the power 2 by 3. So this is going to be 2 into 5 square is 25. That means it is going to be 50. So the level of the output that I have got in this case is 50. Now this is asking you what will be the level of private investment. So if I just go ahead and I find out the equation is Y is equal to C plus I plus G. So I have found out that, my Y, that is 50. So I will just put 50 here. And C is going to be, 2.5 plus 0.75 Y minus T plus I, and G is given to me as 10. So if you can read it, just try to see. It says that government expenditure are 10 and total tax revenue is also 10. So G is given to me as 10. So this is going to be 2.5 plus 0.75. This is going to be Y. Y is 50. T is 10 plus I plus 10. So this is going to be 2.5 plus 0.75 into 40 plus I plus 10, right? And 0.75 is 75 by 100, which is 3 by 4. So into 40, that is going to give me 30. So 30 plus 10 is 40. So this is going to be 42.5. So 50 is equal to 42.5 plus I. So I will be 7.5, right? So they're just asking find the level of private investment, and that is going to be 7.5. That would be the answer to this question, right? In exam, they could have gone ahead and they could have asked you find the interest rate. So because now my investment function is 10 minus 0.5 R, and I know that investment has been 7.5, so I can go ahead and I can find the interest rate as 10 minus 7.5 divided by 0.5. So 2.5 divided by 0.5, so 5. So I can also go ahead and find the interest rate. That is how you can go ahead and solve this question. Okay, come to the next one. So this is pretty simple. So if you go ahead and you see, this is the constant sum game. And in this case, the constant value is 0. So it's a zero sum game. The sum of the payoff is coming out as 0. Try to find out the Nash equilibrium in this case. So when player 1 goes for head, between -1 and 1, you will choose 1. When player 1 goes for tail, between 1 and -1, you will go for 1. When player 2 goes for head between 1 and -1, you will choose 1. And when player 2 goes for tail between -1 and 1, you will go for 1. So you will realize, of course, it had to happen in a zero-sum game, that there will be no Nash equilibrium. It's a zero-sum game, therefore there is no Nash equilibrium. But I have already taught you that the number of Nash equilibrium are always odd. So if there is zero Nash equilibrium in the pure strategies, there will be exactly one mixed strategy Nash equilibrium. There will be exactly one mixed strategy Nash equilibrium. So we can go ahead and we can say that there is, answer will be B, there is a unique Nash equilibrium, and that is going to happen with the mixed strategy. No pure strategy Nash equilibrium and one mixed strategy Nash equilibrium. Okay, come to the next question. It says denote the total money supply as the product of monetary base and money multiplier. The money supply has two components, currency in circulation and demand deposit. So they have made the question so easy that even though you have never done the concept of money multiplier, just if you keep following the steps that they have given, you will be able to solve it. Take it. So it says the supply of money is product of money multiplier and monetary base. This is already given to you. So from here, I can say that money multiplier will be supply of money divided by monetary base. Now it says money supply has two components, currency in circulation and demand deposit. So money supply is written as currency in circulation and demand deposit. And monetary base has two components, currency plus reserve. So monetary base is currency plus reserve, right? And express the reserve ratio as R and ratio of currency to deposit as K. So everything is in terms of the ratio. So what I will do is I will divide throughout by deposit and divide throughout by deposit, right? So this will go ahead and give me C by D plus D by D upon C by D plus R by D, right? So this will go ahead and give me currency deposit ratio, which is in this case given as K, and reserve ratio is given to us as, I think, P or R. Reserve ratio is given to me as R, and the currency deposit ratio is given to me as K. So I will just plug the values. So this is going to be K. This value is given to me as K. This will be 1. So I will get 1 here. This is going to be K. So I will just plug in K here. And this is going to be R. So I will plug R here. So this is going to be my money multiplier. 1 plus K upon K plus R. And that means the option will be B. So even though you have never done this kind of question, suppose in your session, just by reading out the question, you should be able to go ahead and answer such kind of questions. Okay, let's go to the next question. It says if, not sure what this name is, if Fazal is a member of parliament, so if F is MP, then he is at least 25 years old. Then at least 25 years old. That's the minimum thing. So, if you are MP, then at least 25-year-old means that the minimum thing required for you to become an MP is that you must be 25 years old. That's an eligibility criteria. Now it says, based on this information, which of the following must be true? He is an MP? No. This does not say that he is MP. It says if he is MP, then 25 years old. It does not mean he is an MP. Then it says if he is less than 25 years old, then he is not an MP. This is definitely okay. that because the eligibility requires you to be minimum 25 years. So if you are not 25 years of old, then definitely you cannot become MP, right? If he is not MP, then he is less than 25-year-old, not necessary. It can be the case that you have crossed 25 years of age, and in which case you can become MP and you cannot become MP. But if you have not crossed 25 years age, definitely you cannot become MP, right? And if you have become MP, then definitely you have 25 years of age. So from this, B seems to be correct, that if you're less than 25 years, definitely you are not an MP. Okay, come to the next question. So it says the contents of urn A, B, and C are as follows. So you are given 3 urns, urn A, B, and C. Urn A contains 1 white, 2 black, and 3 red balls. Urn B contains 2 white, 1 black, and 1 red ball. Urn C contains 4 white, 5 black, and 3 red balls. It says 1 urn is chosen and 2 balls are drawn, which happen to be black and red. What is the probability they came from urn A, B, or C? I will just do one of the cases that it came from urn A. Simple, you have to use Bayes theorem. So given that you have got 1 red and black ball, what is the probability that it came from urn A? Use the Bayes theorem. This is going to be probability of red and black ball given urn A into probability of A upon the probability of red and black ball given urn A into probability of A plus probability of red black ball given B into probability of B plus probability of red black ball given C into probability of C. Just use Bayes theorem. A better look into urn A. So if you are in urn A, what is the probability of choosing 1 red and 1 black ball? So red balls are 3. So 1 red means out of 3 you have to choose 1. And 1 black means out of 2 you have to choose 1. Right? Divided by how many total balls are there, beta? So 3, 4, 5, and 6. There are 6 total balls, out of which you have chosen 2. Right? So this will be this probability. This will be this probability. This one. And into probability of urn A. So 3 urns, equal probabilities. So this is going to be into 1 by 3. Okay. Now, if I just find out the denominator, so this is going to be the same. This will be 3C1 into 2C1 by 6C2 into 1 by 3 plus. Look here. This is say, given that it is urn B, what is the probability of choosing red and black ball? So I am in urn B. In urn B, I have 1 black and 1 red, right? So I need to choose 1 black out of 1 black, 1 red out of 1 red. In total, how many balls are there? There are 4 balls, out of which I have to choose 2. And selecting B has a probability of 1 by 3. Now come to this one. Come to this one. So it says, given C, what is the probability of 1 red and 1 black? So if C, that means I am here. How many total balls are there in C? We can see that there are 12 balls, right? So I need to choose 1 red. So that means out of 3, I need to choose 1. I need to choose 1 black. That means out of 5, I need to choose 1. And then out of 12, I need to choose 2, right? Into probability will be 1 by 3, right? That is going to be the probability of getting the balls from urn A. So when I'm just leaving it up to you. So when you will just open this up now, after opening this up, you will go ahead and you will get the answer as 66 by 131, which is option number D, right? It's written without dividing. They have written in the bigger numbers. So they have given option D as 264 by 524. And that will be the answer to this question. Okay. Very simple, just use the base theorem. Okay, come to the next question. So this goes ahead and says that you need to consider an expression, and the expression that is given to you is this. It says x square plus y square is equal to 20. And it says how many integer solutions will exist in this case. Integer solutions chahiye hame. We need integer solutions. Try to see beta. Because the sum of this is 20 and both of them have to be positive. X has to be also positive, and x square is also positive and y square is also positive. So it automatically means that x can be anything between -4 to 4. X cannot exceed 4. क्यों? क्योंकि अगर x 5 हो जाएगा तो 5 square is 25, which will exceed 20. And if x will be -5 also, so -5 square will be 25, which will exceed 20, right? And I need integers. So this goes ahead and tells me that my x will be anything between -4 to 4. X will be anything between -4 to 4. Similarly, we are pretty sure that y can also be anything between -4 to 4, right? Because the sum has to be 20 of x square and y square. So none of them can exceed this gap that we are talking about. What we can do now? So now I have at least got some numbers with me that x can be -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And y also can be the same. Now tell me something. If I take x to be plus or -4, then y will be plus -2. Because 4 square is 16 and 2 square is 4 and sum of this is 20. Right? And similarly, if I take x to be plus -2, then y can be plus -4. Right? Again, 2 square is 4, 4 square is 16. If I sum them, I will get 20. So this gives me so many pairs. I can have pair 4, 2, -4, 2, 4, -2, and 4, -4, -2. So many pairs I can get, right? Same, I can make pairs between these x, y's also. So the number of integer pairs which solve this equation, they are definitely more than 2. But they're countables, right? Because the pairs will be created from this set only, right? So the correct answer to this question will be C, that they will be more than 2, but they will be finite. Okay. Come to the next question. It says, let R denote the relative return on asset in Indian rupee compared to the asset in US dollar. Call the prevailing interest rate in the two countries. So in India, the interest rate is IIN, and in US, the interest rate is IUS. The expected annual change in rupee dollar is E. Assume complete mobility of financial assets between the countries. And there is 3% decline of rupee. So I'm expecting a depreciation of 3%. And interest rate in US is 4%. So it is asking what will be interest rate in India. Very simple. India has to give at least the interest rate of 4%. क्योंकि US में 4% है, तो इंडिया को भी 4% देना जरूरी है. और क्योंकि इंडियन रूपी डेप्रिशिएट कर रहा है, तो इंडिया हैज टू कॉम्पनसेट फॉर दैट ऑल्सो, दैट द करेंसी इज डेप्रिशिएटिंग, दैट यूएस डॉलर इज एप्रिशिएटिंग. So that's the extra return on US dollar. So the total return that India must give, that should be approximately 7%. And that's the answer to this question. Okay. But now let's go to the next question. It says y star is given to you as alpha plus u. Right? And it says that u is normally distributed between 0 with mean 0 and variance sigma square. Alpha is a constant. It says define y. How is y defined? Y is defined as 1 if y star is greater than 0 and 0 if y star is less than equal to 0. It says find the probability that y is equal to 1. So I need to find the probability that y is equal to 1. If I need to find probability that y is equal to 1, it means I need to find probability y star is greater than 0. Only then y will be equal to 1. And when will be y star greater than 0? It means that I want alpha plus u to be greater than 0. So I will get probability alpha plus u to be greater than 0. Right. Now look into the options. The options that are given to you, they are in terms of CDF of standard normal variable. It means I need to convert this in a standard normal variable format, right? I need to convert this in a standard normal variable format. And how can I convert this in a standard normal variable format? Very simple. I will subtract its expected value from both sides and I will divide it with its standard deviation of alpha plus u. So when I will subtract its expected value from both sides and I will divide by the standard deviation, I will be able to convert this in the z variable, right? Now, beta, the left hand side that you see here, this is nothing but this is z. Probability z greater than. And now I need to solve the right hand side. This is very simple to solve. Dekho dhyan se. Look into the numerator. I need to find expected value of alpha plus u. This is going to be expected value of alpha plus expected value of u. Expected value of constant is constant itself. And expected value of u will be 0 because I am given that the mean is 0. So expected value of u will be 0. So this will give me alpha. So the numerator becomes alpha. The expected value becomes alpha. Now let's talk about the variance of alpha plus u, right? This is simply going to be the variance of u. Why? Because variance is unaffected by origin. And if you find this difficult to understand, you can simply write this as variance of alpha plus variance of u, assuming there is nothing common between them. Alpha is a constant and variance of a constant is 0. So this is simply going to be variance of u. So here in the denominator, the standard deviation of alpha plus u is nothing but the standard deviation of u only, which is sigma. So I will go ahead and I will get that this is probability z greater than minus alpha by sigma, right? This is a symmetric distribution. So agar aap yahan pe dekho, whenever I make a symmetric normal distribution, right? And I find out this area, then this area and this area are equal to each other. Similarly, if I find out this area, the one that I've marked with yellow, then this area is also equal to the one that I'm marking with blue. Both of them will be equal to each other. So this thing that probability z greater than minus alpha by sigma, it can be written as probability z less than alpha by sigma. So if I draw this, then this is this beta. If I take minus alpha by sigma here, this is this area. And if I draw this, then I can take alpha by sigma here, and this is this area. And when we talk about normal distribution, the two areas are equal due to symmetry. But this can simply be written as the CDF function of alpha by sigma. Because you are just marking every value less than this value. So this entire area, this is nothing but the CDF function. So the answer to this will be that this is simply the CDF function, which is B. B is the answer to this question. Okay, come to the next question now. So very simple question is given to you. You need to find the inverse of this matrix. The matrix given to you is 1, 2, 2.5, and 6. Let me just highlight this. Yes. So we know that these two change their position and these two change their sign, and you divide it by the determinant. So if these two change their position and these two change their sign, I will get this, right? And the determinant of this will be 6 minus 2 into 2.5, 6 minus 5, which means 1. So this will be the inverse, right? So this would be the answer to this question. With this, we end the sample paper of Shiv Nadar University. Shiv Nadar University is a good university to be at. It offers a good Masters in Economics program. The faculty at SNU is excellent, and there is a lot to learn after you join SNU for your master's program. So I would go ahead and I would suggest you to prepare thoroughly for this entrance exam. And especially if you have a bent towards research, then this is a good university to be at, right? So all the very best for your entrance exam, beta. And I hope that you will revise the topics that I have mentioned in today's marathon. Thank you.